Welcome in everybody. Welcome to the Weather Channel. My name is Weather. Here we are. We're going to do a massive, no BS breakdown of the Call of Duty Vanguard beta. So, we're going to touch a couple points here. What we're mainly going to touch on are the pros and the cons, what weapons are going to be probably meta in Vanguard, and what we think is going to be pretty OP. We're just going to kick this right off and we're going to go in the pros. There's lots of weapons that were in the beta with lots of customization as far as like attachments and stuff, but it was a bit bland. We'll touch on that later. There was tons and tons of weapons to choose from and to try to test out. Lots of ARs, lots of SMGs, lots of shotgun snipers, so on and so forth, like you would expect from a typical Call of Duty game. But it was just I guess the customization was a little bit cut, dry, and to the point. Which it is a beta, so I didn't expect them to dump an outrageous amount of attachments on us and an outrageous amount of things that we could unlock. The weapons were capped at I think 30, so you could upgrade the level to 30 and get some attachments on it. I think you can go up to 50 in the regular game, which is good. I like that. I like that you could basically go up to level 50, get every single attachment, test out everything that you want, everything that you need. Sights were pretty interesting. Barrels were pretty great. The grips, so on and so forth. And while we're on the topic of weapons, my opinion, we're going to jump straight into the weapon side of this, but my opinion, the best three weapons in the game are going to be the STG 1944, the M1928, and the MP40. You're going to see gameplay from those three guns in particular, and you're going to see that in this video while I'm talking. So be sure to watch that, and you'll see exactly. I want to do a massive shout out to It's Pleb Boy. All his links will be dropped down in the description below. He's the one that had provided the gameplay for me. He is my dirty dynamic duo. We're going to take over pretty much the competitive scene for our organization, Ryze. The link to Ryze, the Ryze Discord, the Ryze website will be linked down below as well. I'll touch on why those three weapons are the best soon. But I wanted to just go ahead and throw that out there beforehand. Those three weapons are going to be the best. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The best. They're going to be the meta. Trust. Other pros were, there was lots of maps. I think there's 5 or 6 maps. There was 3 really good CQC maps. They were small. They were great. They were advantageous. I have some complaints about the map. About the maps, and we'll reach into that in a minute. The ability to change the size of the game mode. You had 3 options. You had tactical, assault, and blitz. Tactical being 6v6, blitz being the massive game mode, and assault being the in between. So you got a wide range of how you wanted to play it. So if you wanted to do large game modes like 24v24 on Red Star, you could do that. If you just wanted to play 6v6 on Eagle's Nest, you could do that as well. I love the recoil. The recoil was pretty impressive on PC. Okay, I'm just strictly speaking for PC here, but on PC the recoil was pretty amazing. It was easy to control a lot of these weapons. Probably a little bit too easy. I really loved the sound of the weapons. The hit markers and the headshot sounds were they were chef's kiss. They were precious. They were top tier. I loved how fast paced the game was. It was way more fast paced than Cold War, which I love fast paced shooters, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. It was one of those things that it's like, you either go fast or you don't play the game at all, in my opinion. So it was just the sliding, the movement, and everything. It was great. It has the potential to be a very fast, balanced esports title. Just like with COD League, with Cold War and stuff like that. I have the feeling that it is legit going to be one of the best esports games out there. Regardless of era, regardless of weapons, it's going to be super, super tactical. It's going to be super, super fast. It's just going to be fun to watch, fun to play. The customizations, for your settings on PC were actually like immaculate. The sensitivity settings for your mouse, you had ADS sensitivities, vertical, horizontal sensitivities. It was just vast. I think that you had more settings in the beta for Vanguard for sensitivity than you do in Cold War, which is pretty great. I mean, that's just my viewpoint on it. The more control you have over your game, the best possible, you know, outcome you're going to have, because you're just going to have a lot more accuracy involved. So getting into the weapons that I really feel like that are going to be really good, is, like I stated before, the SCG 1944, the 1928, and the MP40. Those three are going to be good. Those are the ones that we know of, that everybody has seen. But ones that you did not see that are like hidden gems are the auto-loading shotgun, which you can basically turn into a slug and map people with. You have the M1 Garand, which everybody knows the DMR. The M1 is phenomenal. And the Kar 98 is probably going to be the best sniper, bar none, in the game. These weapons were absolutely filthy in the beta, and I only expect them to maybe get toned down slightly. I don't know. I don't think they'll get toned down realistically. Now, here is the no BS breakdown. It's time to dookie on the game. Well, I know this is beta. There are some things that bother me a tad bit. Well, a lot actually. One being the sun. Come on, Activision. The sun was bright. Okay, like it was too damn bright. I think a setting needs to be put in place where the sun can be toned down, like with a lens flare option. Maybe even just get with the Skybox team and see if you can have them tone down the brightness of the sun. I don't know. Everywhere you looked, it was just like a big ball of light in most maps, except for Hotel Royale because it was nighttime. But everywhere you looked, it was just a big ball of light, and you were fighting enemies on top of fighting the sun, and it was just daunting. Especially on Gavudu, it was rough, absolutely rough. Like, it was just, I don't understand why things had to be so bright. Like, you can turn that down. There's no sense in it. Speaking for console, the graphics were not up to par. It looked like a GPU was failing on Hotel Royale with the Series S. Like, a lot of people were on taking to Twitter about how the graphics were just crashing, and this is on console. I don't know if it's because the game is so graphically intense, or if it's just, I don't know what it is, but something needs to be put in place where you need to like lower the settings for console or something. But it looked like garbage. It looked like hot ass, and I don't know. There just needs to be like a sensitivity setting or something. Okay, hopping into some red dots. Okay, we're just gonna touch on this. Some red dots for some people look like they were covered in dirt. Like, you couldn't see anything through them, especially on like DMRs and stuff. I don't know if that's because one person in particular, I don't know if their graphics card was failing or what, but the walls were blue. What was supposed to be tan was orange, and when you looked inside like the red dot, like in the center where the clear area is supposed to be, it looked like it was covered in dirt. I know this is a beta, so I'm not really going to knock it too much, but I think it can be fixed. The next thing I wanted to touch on was the spawn locations. They were absolutely atrocious on tactical. 6v6 should not be that chaotic. I understand that it is Call of Duty and it's supposed to be chaotic, but you would spawn in enemy teams, randoms, and so on. It would just be terrible. Like, why are there so many spawn locations on that small of a map? There shouldn't be that many spawn locations. My advice to fix that would be just have 3 spawn locations on your initial, so one at the left, middle, and right, and then 3 spawn locations at the opposite team's initial, left, middle, and right. That would keep things from clustering up, and basically once spawns flip, there's 3 locations, 3 to 4 locations, I would say. I'd keep it random, obviously, but there's once you flip the spawns, you wouldn't be basically trying to flip the spawns to get your team to collapse and then the team spawn on top of you while you're trying to flip the spawn. Like, it's just, it's crazy running. Like, I remember one time I was like, okay, I'm gonna go flip spawns, and my buddy was on the opposite side. He's like, okay, flip the spawns, and he was waiting a little bit back from the spawn location. I killed a guy in spawn in Gavudu near the sniper's roost. That's what I call it, the sniper's roost area there. And a whole team spawned in the water area and just absolutely demolished me. That's not fun. I'd like to collapse on spawns and move things like that. Like, that would just be that's more beneficial to a competitive shooter. I don't know if that's their goal, but that's what I think needs to be fixed. I felt like hit detection for some things was off. I mean, it could have been tick rate for me. I had a 36 millisecond ping on most games that I played. But on others, I'd see it ramp up to 44, 55, 66 even, and then like try to throw you into a match, which I don't know if that's intentional or what, but I felt like when I was shooting at somebody's head, I know I was beaming them, lasering them in the head, and it was just I could see the shots hitting the wall behind them, and it was like I wasn't getting any hit markers or nothing. Like, I could have finished a guy in like 3 shots to the head easily, but I had to unload an entire magazine into a guy, and he still ends up killing me, and he's not even half health afterwards. I don't know, it might be just be tick rate for the servers. I'm not entirely sure, but I felt like hit detection was a little wonky. We're going to touch on some things that probably everybody was talking about. So I don't know if it was placeholders for guns, but the gun used in the execution, I heard it was a PP-25 or a PP-225, one of the weapons that have been used in previous Call of Duties. It looks similar to the 1911, but the 1911 is thinner at the barrel and not as thick as that one was. This one was also shorter. It looked like a more advanced weapon than the era. I don't know if we're going to have historically accurate things. Activision stated that it's not necessarily going to be 100% historically accurate, but that doesn't mean that there isn't going to be historical accuracy involved in the story. You can't have one without the other. Of course, red dot sights weren't used until 1975. So obviously, that's not historically accurate. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my take on it. That's what a lot of people were complaining about. But I mean, if you say you're going to be historically accurate, you need to be historically accurate. That's just the way I go with it. My final point is the ranges of certain weapons should be larger than others. Like, come on. An SMG has the same range as the STG. Like, STG is supposed to be the precursor to the AK-47, one of the most volatile, most massive ARs ever invented, right? And it has a Tommy gun has the same range as an STG. Come on. There was fall off distance, but with the maps we played, we really couldn't tell so long as you spec for recoil and accuracy, because most of these maps were like medium to short distances in most engagements. Very little were you trying to beam somebody from across the map with with an STG. In typical Call of Duty fashion, you're more or less going close quarters. So the weapons, I mean, there could have been damage fall off, but let me just go ahead and say, when you're on Eagle's Nest and you're on the left side from the sun spawn, that's what I like to call it, when you're going down that long catwalk, the covered catwalk area, you can literally sit back there and mount up and just hose that door with the M1928 and just run people over. And you could do the same with the STG-44. Like, you got to have some distinct differences there, Activision. You got to kind of give one an advanced like hip fire accuracy on SMGs and close quarters accuracy, and then have a slightly steeper damage fall off on the SMGs, and given the ARs that damage increase or that range, you have to separate the two. You can't just have every weapon running the same range. Now, of course, it is the beta. Well, like I said, it's a beta. I understand, but you have to distinctly put those two in separate categories. I'd like to see a little bit more customizations for the guns. Hopefully, blueprints will give that extra little oomph of customization. But from what I've seen, it was a little bit bland. It wasn't like as detailed as I hoped it was. But that's just my opinion. Like I said, these are all my opinions. These opinions are pretty valid, I feel like. I've spent at least about a day and a half in the beta of playtime in it, and I've tried out pretty much all possible weapons, and what I settled on is what you all have heard so far. So this is the first type of video I've done like this. So if you liked what you heard, what you've seen, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment down below. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/weather. Every link for anything will be in the description box. So please make sure you go and drop my boy Pleb a follow. Go follow the Ryze Twitter. Join our Discord. Follow my Twitter. Do all those things. I'm trying to grow here, so it just helps me out. Appreciate everybody for stopping and listening to me give my no BS breakdown. That's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.